And welcome back to the hottest marriage show in my podcast room. It's I, John D. and Kanika, a.k.a. And Too Much Podcast. Good morning, my love.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm relaxed. I'm good. Excited about today.
What about today?
I plan on having fun.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't often do that.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out how to actually do it without me feeling like, like my fun is typically like, again, it hurts somebody's feelings. And I don't know. I think me being serious is going to hurt less people's feelings.
Oh, boo.
Until you're the person being talked about.
Right. Then it's like, hey, whoa, buddy.
Hey, just be serious now. No joking.
Oh, shoot.
How are you?
I'm like a meh. Like,
Why do you feel like that?
I don't know. I'm not sad. Not happy. I'm just kind of floating around. I tend to be, I think, y'all have heard me say this before in the last, year or two we've been doing this. When the weather gets
Oh, you really feel that?
Where Michigan, when the sky becomes more gray than blue, more often, I tend to get, So I'm kind of on that thing right now. What about you? How are you?
I'm good. I guess I'm not as good as I thought, because I think yesterday I was thinking about how my attitude was, and I couldn't figure out why, but I think it was like a combination of a bunch of things. But in my head, I was like, I'm going to be the best I can. But I was like, it was so hard. And I think I was just tired. I don't know.
Attitude toward the end of the night? Or
just the whole day.
Oh.
Yeah, like I know how, like I was trying to enjoy myself, and I didn't want anybody to think something was wrong. But overall, I didn't feel as joyful, jubilant as I normally have felt.
Welcome to Michigan.
You so silly. I enjoy weather like this, though.
Do you? Why?
I just feel like when weather's like this, that means people should be in the house being safe.
And weather like this means we're in the rainy part. Not really snow right now, which I'm thankful for, but gray skies, no leaves on the trees. Definitely colder and
It's
just
more of
wet.
a sleepy, hollow feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I'm looking forward to the winter. I enjoy the winter a lot.
You in Dallas?
Well, I enjoy it for different reasons. He enjoys the temperature.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, what you got on your mind today?
Someone was talking about, reflecting on what, if you intend to have a long marriage, some things you should probably think about. And usually it's conflict. Like, we don't have any problems when it's all fun and games. Everybody's good. But usually when conflict comes around or discomfort, that's where people start to have to make decisions about how grown up they're going to be and how much, they're going to try to preserve the health of their marriage. And so one of the things they said was, I know that when you and I have had conversations, we've talked about feeling attacked. And, well, I just feel like you're putting it all on me. You're attacking me, blah, blah, blah. Well, they had asked, they said, if you feel attacked, is it just that you don't feel comfortable with their frustration and disappointment? It's not really attacking you. It's them expressing their frustration and disappointment, and that's kind of like you're personalizing it rather than looking at that frustration and disappointment and trying to remedy it. Like, so in the past, I know sometimes with frustration and disappointment with certain behaviors, we would like call out other times where the behavior has taken place, or where we've felt that way before. Should we be looking at it as an attack, or?
I think that if you're not an effective communicator, if someone is not expecting to be criticized, they could take it in the worst way possible. And even if you are expecting to be criticized, depending on who's saying it, it could look worse than what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I'm listening.
Oh, I was just going to say, when it's someone who you love and who loves you and they're expressing it.
Yeah, that's the reason why, in order to get a behavior change in somebody that you really care about, they have to really know when you're serious, or you have to be that good at convincing them that the way that they're doing it is probably not beneficial to them. So at the end of the day, it's just an effective communicator, or how strong that relationship is, where somebody can say, okay, when they do this, this means that I should stop doing what I'm doing. And I think that just comes from the relationship that you create with somebody, to change your behavior without saying, hey, this you need to stop. You know, like, it's okay. Like, just look at dieting practices. Like, if I was an effective communicator, I would be able to say, hey, and persuade you to be like, but there's something about me that says, hey, I don't really want to look like that, or, you know, I really want to do it my way. But if I do something that's crazy, you be like, okay, this is when John is serious. Okay, maybe I need to, you know, like to make you think like, okay, he doesn't normally act like this. So I have to be a good communicator. So I do believe that if you come to me about some stuff and I can't receive it, I'm hearing it wrong, or I'm guilty.
Right.
And I haven't been able to accept the accountability for it.
But you know, even if I come to you about something, I'm not thinking of you as guilty.
See,
I'm thinking
you're
of
not.
it.
I'm talking about like the way that I'm like, you know, when it's like being called to the principal's office.
Yeah.
So you go to the principal's office. That don't mean you in trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you're calling something out, or we need to talk, it's like certain words that go together. You're like, okay, I've heard these words together. And typically there's on the other end, it's not like there's a surprise behind door number 2.
Do you think we ever use the practice of I feel? Does
Statements.
that help with attack?
That's awesome, because that's what we use in our school. Well, in the elementary side, they say, you know, I feel statements.
Yeah.
You know, when you do this, I think that you and I have a better way of communicating with each other so that things don't spiral out. So we may not typically say I feel, but we say things similar or close enough to like pump somebody's brakes. You know, I don't like the way I feel, or, you know, hey, did you do this? Or something to the point where, you know, you did this. So it's like, if I hear you did this, you're feeling a certain type of way, and I need to hear it. So I think I'm more aware, like, well, I didn't do that on purpose. I used to like blame you, like, well, I didn't do it on purpose, like you were supposed to. So to me, like,
so suck it up or let it go.
I know, but that's just your statement, though. You said, like, if somebody brings a concern to me, you know, like, if you don't say it correctly, I might be too distracted by how you said it, and I can't get past that. You know, I'm not mature enough to be able to like decipher through your code.
Do you feel like, you know, I feel like a lot of what we talk about, we say it in the realm of marriage, but it can work in family. So recently we were having a conversation with a family member, and we're trying to figure out how to relate. You just to the audience. So you know how you have people in your life and you feel like they're spiraling, and they say they need help, but it's not the help you think they need, and the help that they're requesting may not always seem like that's really what's going to give them the outcome they want. Do you think that, I don't think that in our communications we ever express frustration from our end and how we feel.
Yeah.
Maybe we are, when we're talking to people and we think that we can help them fix it, it does feel like an attack because we're trying to run down all the things that they haven't done correctly. And why don't you just try it this way, because everything you've done isn't right.
Yeah.
So it is an attack. So I know you and I, we've really, really worked on how to work with each other in conflict, whether it's like outwardly we're arguing or, someone is feeling some kind of way, but it's not something's in the air, but we're not talking.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to everybody, like our situation with trying to, make sure that the kids are relating well together,
mm-hmm.
and how we're relating to our family outside of the house, I don't necessarily know if we put the same effort or the same practices in.
We don't. Well, I know I don't. I'm not gonna lie. Like, just listening to you talk just made me realize I'm better with you. I'm better with the kids, but I don't practice all of these things with other people, like you said, and nobody else outside of us is practicing the things that we're doing. So it's like I have to be more aware of how I'm treating the people on the outside of this house. Yeah. And that was a great. I don't know. It was like one of those moments where I'm like, dang, I didn't even consider that. Like I do. I approach you guys with way more caution than I do with people on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And
what's funny is it's the flip. We were talking about our daughter is very, very, what is the word?
Rigid.
Yes. She's very rigid with how people deal with her in the house, but outside she's not like that. And you're the opposite.
Well, I think because to me, my hers is, she's just way more comfortable with us. She knows what we're capable of. She don't know what people outside is capable of. She talk to somebody outside like that, she might end up on the ground. So I think she's smart in that capacity. But with me, I don't want to create fires in my house. I'm more aware of, my presentation and how somebody's receiving a message, because I could ruin their moment and it could lead into like longer than a moment. And that's not ever the goal of it all. So with outside now, when you said that to me, I feel like that's something I need to practice, because I can't receive the message if I'm not even giving them the grace that I'm giving the ones in my household.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's crazy. Like the urgency is different for people.
Yeah. And so when we're sitting here trying to solve problems and put out fires, that may not be what we're supposed to be doing in that moment. But I know that I don't use I feel statements with people. I think I only really do it with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I express like I'm frustrated, because I see all of this stuff happening and I don't necessarily know what to do. I don't know how to be vulnerable. I'm not really vulnerable with a lot of people outside of the house. I have a small core group, and not to say that people don't be wanting to open up too much, but I'm just saying when you're dealing with people and there's that conflict, that's not the first thing that comes to mind for me to be like, okay, pause. I'm feeling frustrated because this is what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling. Can you tell me where I'm right and where I'm wrong right here? Because it might be you shouldn't feel that way because this is what I meant. Or I feel frustrated too because of this. You know what I mean?
That's a good communicator though, if they can bring that, because that's not a regular practice.
It's not.
So if you are able to bring that practice with the people that you're speaking to, people would enjoy talking to you.
Okay, well, I'm going to spin this into the other question. So there was another one that was talking about, and this could be for someone who's just not talking, or it could be for someone who doesn't know to communicate with you in that way. So they were saying, should you avoid them because they're being short and cranky, or do they need someone to check in on them and ask what they need? So I know there are times where I don't do it as much, but I will just shut down and there's no talking. I don't necessarily know how I would react if you were like, okay, can we pause the silent part real quick and just tell me what it is that you need from me? But also, when we're dealing with people who don't know how to say, I'm frustrated or I feel, should we be checking in and saying, what is it that you need? And then I think about culturally, if somebody be like, what do you need? The initial reaction, what is somebody gonna say?
Nothing.
Yeah, I don't need nothing from you.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then I'm gonna ask you, how do you get past that? So first, do you check in on somebody, or is that something you've ever really done? Like, people don't talk to you and you be like, okay, tell me what you need.
Before, I used to be very stubborn. So it was easy for me to just move on. Like, they'll be back. I've always felt like that too. I don't know why I was that cold heart. I just felt like you should know my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you don't know my heart, then okay, like this relationship is not the best. Keep it moving. Now I feel like I don't want anybody to feel, I don't even want people to feel like that when they talk to me. So if I'm silent, it's because I didn't know anything was wrong. We're just silent right now. Like, and if you're mad at me, I need you to know that you got to tell me why so I can fix it, because I don't want you to feel that way. So to me, like, that's how I want to approach every situation. I don't want anybody to ever walk away from me upset, because I don't want you to, there's nothing that you could say to me that I would want to retaliate and make you mad. I just want to understand why you said whatever to me so I can prevent you from talking that way. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So to me, yeah, you check on somebody, but you got to be mature enough to be able to do it, because I remember before I got to this point, I used to check on you, but my tone hadn't changed, and it was just like, it'll go right back. And I'm like, I don't know how that happened, but it was because, like, my mind, I'm saying this like so nice and eloquently and like, I'm just watching you and I'm like, why does she not getting this? But now I know that I'm a lot better, even though I'm still not where I want. But I know there's times where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just go up to her and I'm not even gonna open my mouth. I'm gonna just smile. And then if she breaks, then that means we're good. If she don't break, that means she needs a little more time. But that's me checking in.
I'm usually the one that, well, no, sometimes when you're quiet, I don't know if you're quiet because of me or because of other things around. Because there are things that happen that I'll be like, I didn't even know that happened. And there are times where, just recently I crossed a boundary with you and you weren't talking to me, not in a mean way. You just weren't, like, usually you would have small talk or whatever and you didn't in that moment. And I was like, what's going on? Like, put me up on it. And then it was like a barrage of words coming at me that I didn't understand. I was like, what? Like, and then you did it, and you did, and I was like, okay.
But like, just listening to you say that, like, the reason why I couldn't figure out how to say it, so I was just waiting, like, get my words. So, when you come in, and then it's like, I don't want you to think anything's too crazy to not talk. But it just had. Well, you remember that one time when we had a conversation? I said, I can't believe we had the conversation and you didn't get upset. You received the message.
Yeah.
So I was preparing for that moment, but you came in on me. And I was just like, that's why it sounded that way. I wanted to come out where you'd be like, oh, okay. I didn't know you looked at it that way.
I took it.
I know you did.
Yeah, but I think that was one of the things. I was like, okay. So I don't like silence either. And I even noticed, like, when you are cranky, like, your responses are a bit shorter. You're not smiling. It's like quick response and then you're on to something else. And I'm like, ooh. So I don't want to walk into something that I'm not ready for. Mm-hmm. But generally with you, yeah, I want to know what it is. Like, is there anything that you need for me to do to help out? I guess then that's the other thing. When I was thinking about, I know you've said something to me before, and I'll be like, I don't need you to do nothing for me. And I think that I wonder if it were, what do you need? What do you want? What do you need for me to do? I don't know. Is it even maybe in the way you phrase it? Is there anything that I could do to help you out right now while you're
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
feeling this way.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like if you're a mature person, you can recognize when somebody says, "What do you need?" that they would give it to you if they could, if they knew how. But the way that they say it make it seem like you're my life, you're my you're my last.
You gonna save me?
Yeah, like
I
that.
don't
I don't need you to do anything, and you will not hold that over me.
Okay, so if I said that to you, if that was my response to you, what would be your comeback? Would you walk out?
You don't need anything from me?
Yeah, I don't need nothing from you.
I'm like, what happened? Like, why are you talking to me that way? Like, I don't understand. Like now, before, I'm like, fine then.
Yeah.
Like, and then the mature version be like, or that's getting better. Like, fine then, I tried. Like, and then here's the next one. Fine then, I tried. I'm here if you need me.
It's a graduation.
Yeah. And then the really good one's like, babe, I'm sorry. What am I doing wrong? I just want to help. I don't want you to feel that way. And, I hope you receive this message because I don't know what I'm supposed to say to take it away from you.
True.
But, you got to get to that point. You don't, like, it's so crazy. If you can't control your emotions, you can't even, like, mature to that part. But I'll tell you this, how I got to it, and we can move on. But when you can, like, what could I have done differently?
Right.
Like, if you don't reflect on what you could have done differently, there's no way new options are going to come up when you're upset like that again.
Yeah.
So reflection plays a significant role. Like, so if I say it in a gentler tone where it doesn't sound like you mad, because, you can tell when somebody's mad, no matter what the words say. You're like, I don't need none of that help. You better change all of that now.
Oh.
You go back outside and start over.
Hey, for real. Yeah, I'm gonna work on using the words the way that we said we were gonna use them today. Maybe it'll help out with how I relate with you and others.
Well, I think you are definitely, you have more of your day. You're nicer for the people on the outside. You are. Like, everybody thinks you, like, are this nice person, but you, like, I'm not saying you're not nice, but you have like nobody knows your sternness.
No, they don't. Yeah, here in my safe place, I can let loose. Yeah, you're right. You know what? She gets it honest. I'm gonna have to work with her on that part.
I think that as you move forward, though, if you can be stern in a boundary, then people won't disappoint you. I think you just have the way that you handle things. You think everybody has this standard, and I told you that you're well above really good quality. Everybody just don't know how to operate like you. Create a boundary in the beginning, and they're less likely to disappoint you, or they shouldn't have been hired.
The part about stern always makes me feel like it's like somebody putting a hammer down.
It is. It's saying like, hey, this is my last straw. Like, yeah. I don't want to become a different person. Okay.
I'm trying to keep her under wraps. You don't want her out running the streets over here. Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask you to practice the whole disappointment and frustration thing out in public too.
Oh, I want to.
Yeah.
Like, that's game time. Like I do. I do want to practice just being quiet too.
Absolutely.
Because then I can have better questions for people. But yeah, I will practice that. Great questions today.
Thank you.
Anybody you want to give a shout out before we get out of here?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I never have anybody in mind.
What you want to give a shout out to Black businesses and
oh my God, we haven't done that in a long time.
Well.
Okay, so number one, there's a place, there's a business called Tracy's Treats out of Detroit. If you look on our, we haven't put anything for Black businesses on our page in a minute. So we'll update that. But Tracy's Treats, when I say that stuff looks absolutely amazing, and I've had some of her stuff. I want to give a shout out to her because she has been kicking up dust when it comes to getting her product out there and really, really great customer service. And she has some other things in the works that I'm excited to invest in as well. So shout out to Detroit. Shout out to Black-owned businesses. Shout out to woman-owned businesses, Black woman-owned businesses, Tracy Streets. Yeah, so shout out to my homie.
No doubt. Excuse me. I want to give a shout out to all of the kids who feel like they're doing it by themselves, or they have little to no help, or they feel like they wish they had better parents. Just keep believing in yourself and keep finding ways to become better, and you will understand where your parents were, because your parents do want the best for you. They just don't know how to do it. And if they don't know how to do it, you're going to have to be the one to change the trajectory in your family. And I know that's tough. But, you know, some of the greatest leaders accepted responsibilities at a young age, and why not you? So accept the responsibility, and let's make it happen. Y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA. Get after that action, or that action will get after you. Be great on purpose. Boom.